Hi, I'm Mudinda and I'm here to help you understand maths better for free. Matriculants, in today's video, we're continuing our grade 12 calculus topic. In the previous video, we looked at the remainder and factor theorems. Make sure that you watch that video because today we're going to be using the factor theorem to help us to factorize cubic polynomials. We're going to do this through a number of examples, a number of illustrative examples, so let's get right into it. Now, I just want to say, matriculants, bear with me. This topic takes quite a few examples sometimes for you to actually grasp the hang of it. So be patient with it if you're struggling to understand in the beginning. We have here f of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus 10x plus 8. How do we factorize something like this? Well, the very first thing you do is you look for the factor. We said in order for you to find the factor, you're going to try and replace x here with a number like minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, until you find the one that makes this expression 0. I want you to pull out your calculator and give that a try. Try to see which number is the factor. Pause the video and give that a try. Now, you will have found that it is when you replace x with 1 that this becomes 0. So 1 cubed plus 1 squared minus 10 times 1 plus 8 gives us 0. Therefore, x minus 1 is a factor. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite f of x as x minus 1 times another bracket that's going to have a trinomial. We're going to have three terms in this trinomial. First, we're going to have an x squared term here. We'll have an x term there. And here we'll have a constant. Okay. Now, in order for us to figure out which ones those will be, I want you to remember that factorization and simplification are opposites. So our aim is to make sure that if we were to simplify these two brackets, we would get this back. Keep that in mind. Factorization is the opposite of simplification. So we just want to make sure that when we multiply these two brackets together, we will be able to get this back. And so the very first thing I'm going to do is here, I'm going to put x squared. So that when x multiplies x squared, I'd get my x cubed back. Then I'm going to go to the last term here. In order for me to get this positive 8 as a constant, it needs to come from this minus 1 times this constant that I will put there. And so because of that, I'm actually going to put minus 8. So that minus 1 times minus 8 would give me positive 8, the constant term that I need there. Now, the tricky part is figuring out the x term that comes here in the middle. Now, all you have to do, matriculants, is to focus in on the x squared term here and see how we can construct it in here. There are two things that will give us an x squared term. Firstly, when this minus 1 multiplies x squared, I will get minus x squared. And also, when this x multiplies the x term that I will have here, I will also get another x squared term. Together, I want those two things to give me the positive x squared that I need. So the question is, what do I need to add to negative x squared in order for me to get x squared? I hope you're screaming to the screen that you have to add 2x squared in order to get x squared back. So minus x squared plus 2x squared would give me the x squared term that we desire. And so that's why for the middle term here, I'm going to put plus 2x. Because when I put plus 2x, then x times positive 2x will give me the positive 2x squared. Minus 1 times x squared will give me the minus x squared. And together, these are going to give me the middle term of x squared over there. Everything else is actually going to work itself out. If I simplified this, I would get that back. Let's give it a try. So I just want to show you that this works. So let's simplify this guy, x minus 1 times x squared plus 2x minus 8. Well, x times x squared will be x cubed. X times 2x will be positive 2x squared. X times minus 8 will be negative 8x. Minus 1 times x squared will be minus x squared, and minus 1 times 2x will be minus 2x, while minus 1 times minus 8 will be positive 8. Now, these two guys here are like terms. These two guys here are like terms. So we have here x cubed, then 2x squared minus x squared will be positive x squared. Negative 8x minus 2x will be negative 10x, and then we have plus 8 at the end. As you can see, we have x cubed plus x squared minus 10x plus 8, which is exactly what we have there. So focusing in on that x squared term will always lead you to factorizing correctly. Let's do another example together, and then you can try the third one on your own first. Here we have that f of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus 17x plus 15. So the very first thing we're going to do, we're going to try and find the factor. Pause the video, try the numbers out. But what you will get is that it is f of 1 that makes f of x 0. Therefore, x minus 1 is a factor once again. And so now we will write here x minus 1, and we know we're going to have to multiply it with another trinomial there. Here I'll put x squared so that x times x squared would give me the x cubed that I desire. Here I'll put minus 15 so that minus 1 times minus 15 will give me the positive 15 that I desire. Then I'm going to focus in on this x squared term. It's again 1x squared this time. We know that a combination of 1 times x, negative 1 times x squared, which is minus x squared, and x times whatever middle term we get will give us the middle term of positive x squared there. And so we know that we must add 2x squared. So we put here plus 2x. Okay, so that x times 2x would be 2x squared. Minus 1 times x would be minus x squared. And we would get the positive x squared term back there. We know that from here, everything else will work out. Great, let's look at another example. So in this example here, and feel free to pause the video and give it a try, we have f of x is x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6. So go ahead and try to find the factors. You will find that it is f of negative 1 that makes this 0. Meaning it is x plus 1 that is a factor, according to the factor theorem. And so f of x would be equal to, and here we'll put x plus 1, open a big bracket. Now, here we'll put x squared. And what will we put here? Well, we'll put plus 6, so that 1 times 6 there will give me the positive 6 constant term that I require. Now we need a middle term, and when we take 1 times x, which is x squared, and x times that middle term, we should get a minus 4x squared term as a result. Minus 4x squared. Now the question is, what should I add or subtract to x squared in order to get minus 4x squared? You can look at this question as 1x squared plus what x squared gives us minus 4x squared. So we need a number that you can add or subtract to 1 to get minus 4. Okay, and so that's how we know that we must actually put there minus 5x squared. It is 1x squared minus 5x squared that gives us minus 4x squared. And so for that reason, I know I should put here minus 5x. Because now 1 times x squared gives me x squared. X times minus 5x gives me minus 5x squared. And together those give me the minus 4x squared term that I require. All right, let's look at one more example.